Do you want a unique model of an incident plane that is still flying? Well, in today's video, we're going to take a look at that model and talk about it and its interesting history and see, is it any good to add into your collection? What is up there, everybody? Citrus Aviation here for another video. Today, we're going to take a look at an engine model of Boeing 767-300ER. It's the first time that I'm getting one of these. This one I picked up from MTS Aviation Store in Dayton, Ohio. Go check them out. Great place to buy your models. Pulling the model out of the box, engine models only uses a plastic mold cover for these. Unfortunately, there's no foam. But I do have the model and I have the collector card right here. I need to redeem these. I have not redeemed any of these, so I need to change that. But taking it out of the box, these are fairly well packaged. I'm just not a fan of the fact they don't use foam on a lot of their models unless you get the ultimate collector's versions anymore. That's kind of a sucky situation. As always, I grab the tail section initially and then I grab the fuselage as soon as I can. That's the best way to grab the model. Use the plastic thing that they give you. Use the little plastic cover, and that way you are protecting the model for its future. So what makes this aircraft, November 641 Uniform Alpha, a unique aircraft and a unique model for engine models to make? Well, there are two reasons for that. One, this is currently the oldest currently active aircraft in the United Airlines fleet. This aircraft was delivered in April 1991 as a Boeing 767-322ER, and the aircraft at the time of this recording is 34.7 years old. Quite significant for any mainline or particularly wide-body aircraft in any fleet anywhere in the world, particularly here in the United States, where younger-ish fleets are somewhat common for wide-body markets. The second reason is visible right now on the aircraft. You can see that metallic green finish there towards the forward section of the fuselage over the first class slant Polaris business section. What is that for? Well, that is because on the 29th of July 2023, this aircraft experienced a very hard landing at Houston George Bush Intercontinental. It was operating a flight from Newark to Houston, landed at 10:43 local time, experiencing a hard landing due to improper use of the flight controls by the first officer, causing the nose gear to land and bounce hard, not once but twice. This caused significant damage to the aircraft fuselage, and thus, even though there were no injuries on board, this is considered to be an accident as the aircraft sustained a significant amount of damage directly to the fuselage of the aircraft. The aircraft would appear several months later in early 2024 with this repair modification being made. Of course, significant work was needed to be done to the fuselage to make those repairs, and you can see the original patchwork shown here with the fuselage unpainted. This would only sell for about a month or so before the aircraft would eventually be repainted into the full United Airlines livery, and it operates in the current livery as we speak today. This model, though, does represent the short little time for about a month in April and May 2024 when this aircraft was showing off this interesting livery with the exposed metal repaired fuselage. So that's a really unique thing to sell on a model, because oftentimes model manufacturers, they just won't make an interesting model like this. They'll just make, a standard United 767-300ER, which engine models also made that as well, but they also made this one with this unique section of metal for the aircraft that is the oldest United fleet and had this interesting incident happen in Houston. It's cool that engine models makes these one-off models of interesting aircraft like this one, which is one of the reasons why I picked up. So with that history and understanding of what makes this aircraft historically significant and an interesting topic for a model, let's take a closer look at this plane. Are you looking to build your own custom model airport or increase the detail level of your existing model airport? I would like to introduce you to two wonderful channel partners that we now have, Tarmac Designs and Tiny Tug Designs. Tarmac Designs specializes in building custom model airport buildings. They are most well known for their ATC towers, of which they do them for almost every major airport in the United States and most of them around the world, including some classic towers, and their lineup of custom model airport terminal buildings. These can be custom ordered to meet your specifications, or you can select from a range of model airport buildings that have already been designed and are ready to ship and order. Tiny Tug's Designs provides a wonderful plethora of lovely GSC that is very well detailed and to scale accurate in 1/400 scale. Probably the only brand I know that does that. These two brands can be used to build your perfect model airport, whether it is you need an ATC tower or a new terminal, and then spice it up with all the GSC you need. These are my two preferred vendors to build my model airports with, like you have seen with my Raleigh-Durham Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 projects. Not only that, both these brands are offering a wonderful discount on your order. Tarmac Designs offers a 5% discount using the code Citrus5, and if you order from their website using this code, I also receive a 5% commission on every order as well. And so you can not only buy your terminal buildings and build that airport you've been dreaming of, but also support a creator on YouTube. Tiny Tug Designs offers a Citrus10 code, and using that you can receive 10% off your order. I want to thank Tiny Tug Designs and Tarmac Designs for offering these fantastic products that can build your dream airport and helps to support a community member. So if you're looking for the best GSC and the best terminals with incredible levels of detail and accuracy, go check out these two sponsors. They'll be linked down in the description, and use their codes to save some money. Now go make your dream model airport happen. We're going to start a close look at this model, looking here at the cockpit windows, which are nicely printed on there, and you have all the details you would expect. You have the silver around the windshield, and of course you have the windshield wipers. On the nose you can see the pitot tubes and the SETI ports, which are modeled on this aircraft. The wheels do roll very nice and freely. Between the two pitot tubes you can see the United Airlines slogan, which is Uniting People, Connecting the World. Starline's logo is visible. You can see the L1 door. The United Airlines titles are visible for the part that is visible. Then of course we have the portion of the aircraft that buckled upon landing. That is covered over there with the green where the metal seatwork finish was done, and kind of unique look that it had for a short little while. On the nose you can see the red unemployment line, as it's commonly referred to as. This is the line when you are pushing back with pushback, you do not turn the nose wheel more than that red line. So if you go beyond it, you'll break the seal pin, and it's commonly referred to as the unemployment line because that is often automatic termination. On the nose gear you can see it says ETOPS and the parcel aircraft registration, which is 641. And moving down, you can see one of the things I love about this mold is it really shows off the correct shape for the Boeing 767, and really NG Models is the only company that does this nose correctly. Particularly the underside, as the 767 has a fairly pronounced chin, like kind of like a secondary chin that like extends out quite a ways. As you can see there, it kind of like bows backwards slowly towards past the L1 doorway, and it's kind of almost like the aircraft has its own like little thick chin to it. NG is really the only brand that I've seen that really shows that off on the 767, because most of the other manufacturers, they kind of make it much more rounded and just like more normal shaped, while the 76 really, that chin goes back quite a ways, and NG does a nice job of showing that, and they do it better than any other manufacturer model brand I know of. We have the Polaris business section up front. You can see we got some details here and an upper antenna. One thing you'll notice here, you may notice a little line there in the gray section. That's because it's a little like blue cheat line requires additional paint, and I've noticed sometimes with model airplanes, it's not just an NG thing, but when you got that large section of gray there, sometimes it's like an extra line as they put like an extra layer of paint finish for the gray. I've seen this on Delta models. It shows fairly pronouncedly on this 763, but it is just part of the model, something you have to be aware of. We have the dual overwing emergency exits, as this is a higher density configuration 767 or Gen 2 767. These have the 8 emergency exits with the 4 over the wing, and then we have 2 forward and 2 in the aft cabin, whereas lower density 767s had 4 large emergency exit doors. There'll be additional 2 just in front of the wing, 2 just after the wing. The wheels roll super smoothly. I don't know how well it shows on camera, but it just glides effortlessly. It's really nicely done. See the wing root detail, which includes our landing lights, and of course we have our engines. These engines have very nice fan blade detail. They do not spin, but that is alright. This aircraft is equipped with Pratt & Whitney PW2037 engines, and if that sounds familiar, it's because it is. These are the same engines that are used on the Boeing 757 and the Boeing 747-400, but with different output ratings. So basically the same engine, just slightly different versions of them. Kind of cool that one engine was used on 3 different aircraft. Moving down the wing, we have the massive winglets, which are blue. These are the largest winglet attached to any commercial airliner, at 11 feet tall. It doesn't look like that from the model because this is a huge airplane, but that winglet is 11 feet tall. That's insane. Moving down, we have VHF antenna number 2. We had VHF antenna number 1 up front. And then we have the SATCOM box and VHF antenna number 3. We have the registration, which is November 641 Uniform Alpha, and the United States flag, as United Airlines is a flag carrier of the United States of America. And then you can see just for that we have the aft pit entrance for the cargo bins, where you put things like strollers and pink tag bags, things like that. Of course, we have the AP housing detail and the horizontal and vertical stabilizers, and of course the beautiful United Airlines Evo blue logo there. And you have a skid plate that's extending out. That's for if the aircraft has a tail strike. Prevents the fuselage from getting damaged. On this side, on the starboard side, we have basically the same details, but you can see a forward cargo compartment and an aft cargo compartment. These are designed to fit cans in them. They can fit quite a few of them in both the forward and aft sections. Smaller cans will fit in the front. You have larger ones that can fit in the forward cargo compartment. Engine models are so well detailed, I can go ahead and show you the top as well. You can see that green metallic finish there. See our antenna. We have the ADF antennas, which are the black ones. SATCOM box. Wing emergency exits. Wing detail, nothing crazy, but it is very accurate. Of course, we have horizontal stabilizer. Underside has pretty good level of detail here. A lot of details. NACA ducts. We have the air vents for the AC packs. Red beacon light. We got a wholesale stand that is not included. The only way to get the stands from NG is to get like the Ultimate Collector series, but you can see the underside of the engine detail is quite nicely done, those Pratt & Whitneys. And you can see the aft detail, quite nicely done. So now we have the Citrus caliber rating for this model, the NG model's 767-300. This model receives a 98 out of 100. The reasons it gets 2 demerits are, for the packaging, wide body models from 400 scale should have foam, in my opinion, and it's lacking. The mold is generally excellent. However, someone did comment on my Delta 767 comparison video that the winglets on the NG76 are too small. So I did a little investigating, and yes, the winglets are unfortunately not long enough. They lack the thickness that the Panda or Gemini Jets has, and so I am going to remove a point because of that mold accuracy detail. The winglets look nice, but they're not quite as large as a 767 winglet should be. Particularly the width of them is lacking. The height seems to be a little bit short as well. Just the dimensions are a little bit smaller than what they should be. So, in my opinion, the 76 on the Gemini and Panda versions look a lot better in that area. Particularly, this is the largest winglet on any commercial airliner. So I do think that those molds do better. But outside of those 2 issues, this is an incredible model and a really unique opportunity to get a model that has a unique story that still operates today. So that basically concludes my review of this model. I think the NG76s are really, really good, and I'm really happy to pick this one up and add to my collection as a really unique story to tell, and as a model that I plan to use for a future airport. So that's it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and may God bless you.